Hey guys, welcome to today's video, and today I'm going to be doing a what if scenario. I'm going way back to Dragon Ball with the King Piccolo saga. So what this video is going to be today is talking about what if Krillin, Chiaotzu and Master Roshi were chosen to go to King Kai's planet after they died in Dragon Ball. Okay, so we all know that Krillin's death, he went out fighting Tambourine. So he tried to save the announcer and get Goku's Dragon Ball, and he was killed easily. So a heroic death, really. Tried to save someone's life and trying to stop an evil force from taking the Dragon Balls. In my opinion, such a great fighter at a young age, he would have been worthy to go train with King Kai. And then we see Master Roshi. Hands down, people class him as the strongest man on the planet up until Goku and Tien came along. So again, an extremely powerful fighter, and he did an heroic act in his death, trying to use the Mafuba to defeat King Piccolo by trapping him in that jar and sealing him away forever. Unfortunately, it didn't work, and the effect of the Mafuba at his power level caused him to die. So again, this is something that should have awarded him a chance to go and train with King Kai, one of the Earth's most incredible martial artists and prolific martial arts teacher. He should have definitely been awarded a chance to train with King Kai, or at least get a chance to go on Snake Way. And Chiaotzu, he's not as prolific as the other two. He didn't have the same background as the other two. He was, at this point, he was one of the strongest fighters without a doubt. But his life, he lived like, he just followed the Crane Hermit's ways, and it wasn't good. He lied, he cheated, he stole, he did all sorts, and even trained with mercenary Tao to be a killer and use his powers to manipulate everything, as we saw in the World Martial Arts Tournament, him freezing Goku during his fight with Tien. So Chiaotzu, maybe he's not as qualified to go to train with King Kai, but as we saw in Z, Piccolo, he did one act of redemption. He saved Gohan's life, and he was allowed to train with King Kai. So in my opinion, Chiaotzu, he saved Tien's life, and he tried to make a wish on the Dragon Balls to stop King Piccolo from becoming a younger self and becoming more powerful. He tried to stop him from taking over the world, which that alone should give him the right to train with King Kai, or at least get the chance to travel on Snake Way. Okay, and during the time frame between their death and the Dragon Balls being restored and the wish being made, this was, well, I'm not quite sure how long it was, but it was at least a couple of months before they were resurrected. So this could have given them a chance to make it quite far down Snake Way. I doubt that they would be as distracted as what Goku was when he came on Snake Way, falling off and going to hell, in filler going to Princess Snake's house. Yeah, none of that would happen with those three. They would have just gone for it and made their way, and with Master Roshi, I'm sure he would have pushed the other two to get there faster, though they were a lot weaker than what Goku was. they would have been more focused and more determined to get to King Kai's planet, which I think they would have made it by the time that the wish was made, and that alone would have boosted all of their power levels. The journey on Snake Way would have got them to at least as strong as what Goku was at the end of Dragon Ball, and then they would have made it to King Kai's planet. I'm not sure how long they would have got there, but they would have got probably a few days, because they would have been wished back. But like Goku, and when he got wished back first time on King Kai's planet, he would have had to travel back to the check-in station and then get transported back to Earth there. Now I'm not sure why this all disappeared, but that's a bit of a plot hole with the whole resurrection thing in Dragon Ball, but that's another story. We're just basing it on the start of Dragon Ball Z, where King Kai was first introduced. So the three would make it there to King Kai's planet, they would get resurrected, but they wouldn't be in a hurry to get back to Earth. There's no need, because King Kai would have told them that Goku has already defeated King Piccolo, and then they would just train with King Kai for however long. Let's say they trained for a couple of months just to get used to the gravity on King Kai's planet. That would have brought their power level up to at least 1500, 2000 each. That's each. Master Roshi would obviously be a bit stronger because he started off stronger, and Krillin wouldn't be far behind. Chiaotzu obviously would be the weakest. So power level wise, I'd say Master Roshi would stand at 2000, Krillin about 1700, and Chiaotzu 1500. So at this point in the series, they will all be incredibly strong. They would have caught the bulls, and they would have hit Gregory with a mallet and began the training with King Kai himself. So this is where it gets interesting. I think that Krillin would learn the Kaioken without a doubt. He would be the one to learn the Kaioken fastest, because Master Roshi himself stated that it took him years just to perfect the Kamehameha wave. It took him decades, and it took Goku and Krillin just seconds to do that. And Chiaotzu, I think he would as well master the Kaioken. So let's put this time frame. They go to King Kai's planet and they stay there for 6 months after they've been resurrected. So their power level increases. All of them learn, well, Krillin and Chiaotzu, I'd say, both learn the Kaioken. Master Roshi would probably learn the Spirit Bomb. Now, I'm just putting that out there. I won't say this has definitely happened, because you need to be pure of heart, and Master Roshi, so we all know how he has a lot of impure thoughts, mainly to do with women, but I still think that he is a good guy and he would be able to control it, and King Kai would trust a martial arts master over his two young disciples. So they have techniques that I think they would have learned, and in that 6 months their power levels would have skyrocketed. I mean, the time frame that Goku was in King Kai's planet, his power level went from 400s to over 8,000. I don't care what the dub says, it's over 8,000, not 9,000, as I think everyone in the Dragon Ball community now knows. So, going through this standard, I'd say that Master Roshi would have a power level of 7,000. Krillin, I think he would have eclipsed his master, and his power level would be about 8,000. And Chiaotzu, I'd say, be behind on 6,000. This would make all three stronger than any other fighter on Earth, and then I believe they would return to the check-in station and finally come back to Earth. So with that done, they would go back to Earth, and Krillin and Chiaotzu would find Yamcha and Tien, and they would train for the World Martial Arts Tournament. All of them unaware that Piccolo Jr. had been born and was seeking revenge on Goku. Well, Goku's training, it carries on like it does in the normal saga. So he trains with Popo and Kami, and his power levels and his technique, all that's the same for Goku and Piccolo. Both of those two train as normal and their strength becomes the same. And back to Krillin, Chiaotzu and Master Roshi. Master Roshi, he'd just go back to doing his own thing. He would think, I've achieved this great power, I've trained all my life, now I know that no one can eclipse me, and that's all I need to do, so I'm done. I can sit back and just be the teacher and train the new generation. Chiaotzu and Krillin. Chiaotzu, I believe he would take Tien, and I think he would definitely teach him the Kaioken. It's without a doubt, Chiaotzu loves Tien as a brother, and he'd want him to become stronger and stronger. Chiaotzu would teach him everything he learned from King Kai, and over the next couple of years leading up to the World Martial Arts Tournament, he'd help him become miles stronger, and he would become a lot stronger than what he would have done in the normal timeline. Like, if things continued as they were, Tien's power level would say about 250 or something, around that. But now, I'd say just with Chiaotzu's help, learning the Kaioken, his power level would go up dramatically to, I'd say, about 2000 in that time. Chiaotzu, he won't be the best teacher, but he will be able to teach Tien a lot of new techniques, and he'd be able to become a lot more powerful. And Krillin, he'd train Yamcha, and I believe Krillin is a much better teacher than what Chiaotzu would be. He'd teach him all the same techniques that he'd learned, and they just become so much stronger. I think Yamcha had eclipsed Tien thanks to Krillin's help. So not by much. I think he'd be about 2,500 to 3,000. This is, just want to say, this is all my opinion for all of you saying Yamcha sucks, but he is a talented fighter. That has been shown many times in Dragon Ball and early Z. So he would be a strong fighter. At this point, he was dedicated and determined, so he would be quite strong. Then we fast forward to the martial arts tournament. How everything had gone as normal except for one thing: Mercenary Tao's fight with Chiaotzu. Chiaotzu would defeat him with ease, so he wouldn't even get to the final rounds. So that's just out of water, and his fight with Tien Shinhan, that's gone. So that's out of the picture. And then all the Z fighters, they'd all make it to the finals of the World Martial Arts Tournament in the same order. So Goku would fight Chi-Chi and they'd get married. And then this is where it gets interesting. Krillin would be fighting Piccolo, and Piccolo's power is the same as what it would be in Dragon Ball. So Krillin would defeat him with ease. But before this round, Goku tells Krillin about Piccolo, tells him who he is, and Krillin just obliterates him. He rings him out in the first few seconds of the fight. But we all know Piccolo, he won't give up. He starts to attack Krillin and he beats him with one shot, rendering him unconscious, and he's out. That's it. Then we go on to Yamcha's fight with Kami, or Hero as he was when he entered the tournament. And again, Yamcha would beat him effortlessly. It'd be one shot and it's over. Well, Kami, he'd be so fascinated by Krillin and Yamcha that he wouldn't know what to do. He'd ask Yamcha how he became so strong. He'd tell him the story of Krillin and Chiaotzu and Master Roshi, and then he'd understand and his fears for what would happen to the Earth. It'd all be gone because he knows that there's all these fighters that could defeat Piccolo with ease. So he'd forget his original plan to use the Mafuba to capture Piccolo in the jar. So that's the Piccolo section done. Then we'd see the fight between Tien and Chiaotzu, two brothers in blood fighting for the right to be a world champion. As I've already said, Chiaotzu is miles stronger than Tien, but he doesn't want to be. He wants Tien to be the strongest. So he'd fight, and without letting Tien know, he'd let him win. Yeah, I know that's kind of cliche, but it's the way that Chiaotzu and Tien's relationship works. He'd just let him win. It's simple as, and he'd let Tien believe that he is stronger. Even though Chiaotzu would now have a power level of about 8,000. So then we go on to the next round. I just want to point out I've said these fights in the wrong order. So the next round it would be Yamcha versus Krillin and Goku versus Tien. So this first fight, Krillin versus Yamcha. It's no contest. Krillin taught Yamcha he would now have a power level of about 9,000, whereas Yamcha would be about 3,000. So Krillin wins effortlessly, Yamcha is defeated, and Krillin goes on to the finals. And then Goku and Tien fight. Again, Goku's power level, he would be one of the weaker fighters in the tournament. And without a doubt, Tien would beat Goku for a second time in a row and progress to the final. And then he would fight Krillin, and Krillin would win effortlessly and become the world martial arts champion. Yeah, that's right. Krillin would be the strongest fighter on the planet. Well, this would spur all the other fighters on to train harder and become stronger. Piccolo would go around sulking. He'd dedicate his life to defeating Goku and Krillin and all the Z fighters. So not just Goku. So Piccolo's training from then on would be much more intense. So he'd get a lot stronger over the next few years before the Saiyan saga starts. And as would Goku, he'd want to surpass his best friend and get as strong as what he is. And Tien, Chiaotzu and Yamcha, they'd all want to do the same. So I think that all of them would go on and train so hard over the next few years before the Saiyan saga even begins. Even Yamcha, I don't think that he would become a baseball player. I think that he would dedicate his life to training again. Okay, that's all for this video. If you liked it, please leave a like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video.